Just a little thing before this video starts. There will be some graphic pictures of my grandmother's house right after the fire in this video. So if you do not want to see any of those pictures, please click off of the video right now. Guys, it is me, Ben, and in today's video, you read the title correctly. My grandmother's house did burn down, or not fully burn down, but there was a fire in her house and it was catastrophic. So this is the story of how my grandmother's house burned down. Okay, so the first part of this story, the fire was August 3rd, 2019. It was the last, or my family was still in Martha's Vineyard. It was the last day in Martha's Vineyard when, in the morning, we got called by my aunt who was still in Connecticut, and she told us that Grammy's house burned down. I call my grandmother Grammy, so if you hear Grammy, that means my grandmother. So yeah, we were still in Martha's Vineyard when we heard word of our Grammy's house burning down, and we didn't know, like, wait, what? We were all like, what the heck just happened? Because it's not every day that you hear your grandmother's house just burned down. So yeah, our ferry back home wasn't until late August 3rd's night, or August 3rd, later that night, and that had happened like really early August 3rd morning. So we weren't going to get there until August 4th, and then we could really see all the damage. Think my grandmother was not in the house when the fire happened. We have, in my house, we have a dog and a cat, and thank God she was over our house, babysitting our animals, because if she was in the house or in her condo, she wouldn't have made it out. She really wouldn't have been able to get down the stairs because the fire happened in the living room of her condo, and the living room is downstairs. And also, by the time she probably even heard the fire alarm going off, it would have been too late, because my grandmother does have hearing issues. She's really hard of hearing. So if she was in the house, it would have been really, really bad. So yeah, thank God that she was not in the house. And so it was really, like, I think it was like 3 o'clock in the morning when one of her neighbors in another condo facility in that little complex, a neighbor that was getting ready for his work, he was, I think, a firefighter. A neighbor saw smoke coming out of one of her windows because she had an air conditioning unit in one of her windows in the kitchen area, and there was a little gap of air, because if you put those like units in your window right there, you will, like, there's just a tiny bit of air. So the neighbor saw thick black, like, smoke coming out of the house, and he was like, wait, that's not normal. So sorry, my MacBook's right here with a bunch of pictures, so like I can show you. So he instantly got his gear on and he broke the door down, and the smoke, by that point, the smoke was so bad in the house that he made it halfway into the living room, and her house isn't that big. Her condo is like, it's the size, pretty much the living room is the size of my room, and he got halfway and he needed to go back to the door. He was screaming if anybody was in the house to get out immediately. But thank God that my grandmother was not in the house, and her neighbor, he instantly called 911 to let everyone know that my Grammy's house was on fire. And yeah, so the cause of the fire was an electrical fire in the living room. Her So she has a couch leaning against a wall, and there was a plug behind the couch. And my Grammy didn't know this, but one of the back couch legs was actually on a cord to the leg, and to a lamp. Um, and after a while, it started to spark, and from there, it caught the couch on fire. And that's what started all of the all of the fire and smoke. Now, once the fire department got there, there was really, the couch was only on fire. There wasn't that much like fire damage. It was major smoke damage, and the heat level in the house was insane. I'll show you some pictures will be coming up right now on how bad it really was and how hot it was in the house. Um, right, in the next picture that you will be seeing, um, this is the TV on one of her walls in her condo, and it really tells how hot it was in the house. The TV the TV in the house shattered because it was so hot, and the paint on the wall behind it, and most of the paint even in the house, it got so hot that even on the wall it started to boil. And that's what you'll see in the next photo of the huge like bubble black marks on the wall. The paint started to boil off of the walls, and it was so hot that the TV screen shattered and it was melting down the whole wall. So, my Grammy's condo was a total loss. They um, had to totally redo it. Everything, or mostly, I would say like 99% of the things that were in the house that were in the fire were either lost or um, either really, really cleaned. But most things like on the walls, like pictures, all of her furniture, and like she has stairs going up to her upstairs, and all of those were rugs. She totally lost all of that. And all of her furniture, like beds and everything, they were total loss. Um, yeah, so, and because heat rises, the all the upstairs was charred, and like once again the paint bubbling off of the wall. And yeah, it was really, really bad. So the next day, once we got home from Martha's Vineyard, we woke up really, really early in the morning, even though we had a really late ferry ride coming home. And we really went to go see the condo, not just from pictures that our aunt sent us. Um, and not only was it so bad, like as a fire, the smell. So my Grammy lives in a whole condo unit, and half the condos needed to be evacuated. Like the people who lived in there couldn't couldn't like go back in because of the smell, the smoke, and the like heavy, thick smoke. The smell was so bad that half of the whole condo unit couldn't go back in till like a week later. And one woman, her unit, she had to take her cats out of it because it was like so bad. It's really, really, really bad, this fire. And it, like I said, it really wasn't a big fire. Like, the fire department came in with fire extinguishers, and they extinguished all the fire with normal fire extinguishers. But it was the smoke and the heat from that fire that made the condo a total loss. And that's what's horrifying. Like, even if that tiny fire happened, it was still a whole loss. And thank you guys so much for watching this storytime video. Please comment, like, subscribe, do all that jazz, and I will see you for part 2 when I interview my grandmother about the fire. Bye.